Hi squad, what is up? How the heck are ya? I'm so tired today. I literally just got out of bed like 15 minutes ago. But for today's video, I'm going to be reviewing You Will Get Through This Night by Dan Howell. It literally looks like I've been crying. I have not been crying. I'm literally just tired. I swear. I swear. Anyways, I'm going to be reviewing this book because I finished it. And you guys saw me get it in a vlog a little while back. So I figured I would review it for you all now. So, okay, first off, I just want to say I have a bunch of notes from the book like right here. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm going off of because God knows my memory wouldn't be able to handle doing this from memory. So when I originally got this book, I didn't know anything about it aside from the fact that it's about mental health and it's by Dan Howell, a content creator that I've been a fan of for God knows how long. So I was like, oh, that's a content creator I like, a topic I'm interested in, might as well buy the book and read it. I initially assumed that it was going to be kind of like an autobiography of sorts talking about his journey with mental health. It actually is a kind of like practical guide to not dealing with your own mental health, but like managing your own mental health and making sure everything's going good, you know what I mean? So definitely not what I was expecting. However, it kind of made me like it more because I'm able to go back to it and use it in my day-to-day life. The book is split into like 5 parts, but 3 main ones. There's obviously like the beginning chunk, and then there are the 3 actual main portions of the book that are this night, tomorrow, and the days after that. And there's a couple pages for the epilogue, but the main 3 are the ones that we're going to be talking about. Before we get into that though, I wanted to talk about just kind of like overall things I noticed that I really liked. First off, I really appreciated the layout because the 3 main parts have like different ways to deal with your mental health depending on what you're feeling at the moment, if that makes sense. And I really like that. It's not super general at all. The 3 parts make it like more specific to the situation that you would be in and gives you tips and like advice and exercises you can do based on what stage of your mental health you're currently in. And honestly, the book, like, you can read it through just the whole way. That's what I did, but also it's meant to just like read the certain section of it based off of how you're feeling. So like if you're just having a really bad night, you should read the section called This Night and it'll give you like advice and exercises on how to like get through the night and be okay. Versus if you feel like you're in a really stable place with your mental health and you just want to like adjust stuff for the future, that would be more of like the days after that type thing. You know what I mean? Am I making sense? I'm sorry if I'm not making sense. It's very early in the morning. And another thing I liked about the layout specifically is that it has a lot of like important and helpful quotes on full pages every few pages. Wait, let's just open up to a random one. So I just opened up to a random one and it says, "You own your story. It's your choice how much to share." See kind of like all the darker pages, those are all quotes that take up a full page. And not only is it just like easier to pick out helpful advice that way if you're not able to read through like the whole chapter or the whole book at the moment, but it also just makes it a little easier to read because it breaks up like pages filled with words, which is like a break with just a quote, which I really like. And then finally, just overall, I really liked that the book felt like a conversation because it felt more like personal and, for lack of a better word, like intimate. I mean it just like, it feels like a one-on-one conversation between you and an old friend kind of, who's giving you advice and examples from their own life and trying to like guide you along the path of bettering your mental health. I hope that makes sense and that doesn't come off as super weird. Now we're gonna just dive into the sections really quickly. So the first section is This Night, which is the one you would read if you need advice on how to just like get through the night into tomorrow. So I'm just gonna like note a few things that I really liked about this section. This isn't gonna be like a full comprehensive book review, like summarizing everything, like, I don't know, using specific quotes, examples, analyzing. I'm not trying to like speak a whole essay to you. I'm just making note of things that I really liked in the book because I really enjoyed this book. So anyways, for the section titled This Night, right away I noticed that it immediately normalizes crappy feelings, and I think that's a great way to start because, I don't know, I feel like it's really easy for people to just like invalidate their own feelings, to just be like, I don't know why I'm feeling like crap right now, nobody else is feeling this way. And it just immediately normalizes and said, no, everyone has felt this way at some point. You're fine. You're just having a bad night right now. A quote that really stood out to me, I know I said no quotes, but just shh. I'm a wild card, okay? A quote that really stood out to me was, successfully coping isn't about avoiding bad feelings, but learning how to work with them. And I think that's actually a really good quote to summarize the message of the book as a whole, because something I really got out of it is that it's okay to have bad feelings and just feel like crap, but you can't push those feelings back. You have to acknowledge them, but you also can't let them take over your life. It's kind of like you need to acknowledge them, see that they're there, and then fix it and kind of figure out like, why are they there? How can I deal with them? How can I turn that into a better thought cycle? You know what I mean? Something else that I initially noticed for this section, and it actually carries through for the rest of the sections, it gives you a bunch of exercises that you could do to help with your current situation, but not only does it tell you how to do them, it tells you why you should do them, like what they would be helpful for, so you can kind of like pick and choose and figure out which exercises would help you the most in your current situation. This is kind of like the Bible in a sense for mental health, because it just has like so many different exercises, so many different choices, and it like thoroughly explains how each one will help. And then again, reiterating, just like if you've watched Dan Howell before, you know that his tone is always just like pretty sarcastic and like joking. That tone comes through really, really well in this chapter, as well as like the rest of the book. And I really like it just because I feel like it makes talking about mental health a little easier, because I feel like even though it's not as bad as it used to be, mental health is still pretty stigmatized. It's just easier to read the book and digest the information when it's in more of like a lighthearted tone, while it's also giving you like genuinely helpful information. And I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but he did work with a mental health professional on the book, so the advice is legit that you're getting. And as I was saying with the anecdotes too, he definitely like put in a few funny ones here and there, and I think it just like helps with the ease of the reader, because not only does it make it easier to talk about a super stigmatized topic because it's adding some like lighthearted joking into it, but also it just shows that like everyone's had bad experiences with mental health before, you know, everyone's struggled before. It's just nice to know that you're not like the only one. Like, you know, you're not the only one, but it's nice to have someone actually like tell you and give you examples to show you that you're not the only one. You know what I mean? Now getting into the section titled Tomorrow, which is, okay, you've gotten through this night, now on to tomorrow and figuring out where to go from there. This had a particularly helpful section called the 5-minute rule. This is one that I picked out of all the exercises in there that was helpful for me and my current situation. And it's basically just talking about, if you're not able to start a task, just force yourself to do it and just say, I'm only gonna do it for 5 minutes, and then if I want to keep doing it, great, and if not, I won't. There are obviously plenty of other exercises in that section. I just wanted to bring up that one because that's like an example of how there are a bunch of like exercises and a bunch of advice in that section, but I was able to pick out the one that really spoke to me and then use it to help me in my life. Another thing I want to bring up for this section is, again, I like how he's connecting everything, kind of like procrastination, losing scope of your feelings, stuff like that, back to himself, because it reassures the reader, like, yeah, there's less than ideal things that you're doing right now. However, it's okay because Dan does it too. Someone else does it too. You're not the only one that's doing these like harmful things. You know what I mean? It's normal. It's human. Now that you've realized that you do it, you're gonna know how to deal with it and learn how to manage it and work with it. Finally, for the section titled The Days After That, I really like that the overall theme throughout the book, which is very prominent in this section, I think, is noticing your negative thoughts and feelings and dealing with them in some way, shape, or form that Dan talks about, rather than just talking about like, you know, you should suppress your feelings and never acknowledge your negative thoughts or feelings or whatever, because you always need to just put on a happy face, fake it till you make it, blah blah blah, because that, my friends, is toxic positivity, and it's not productive, because you need to understand that you are having negative thoughts and feelings, because you need to be able to then work through where they're coming from, how can I manage them, rather than just pushing them down and ignoring them, because ignoring your problems is not going to make them go away. Overall, my final thoughts for this book, again, like I said, this is not like a super long book review at all. I just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit because I liked it so much. But my two final thoughts are, one, again, the book was not what I expected at all, but I really liked that it ended up being more of a guide to manage your mental health rather than just an autobiography about Dan's life story, because it's also a very helpful book for anyone to read, not just people who may be interested in his life, but literally anyone, because we all have mental health, right? As good as your mental health may be, you can always make improvements in your life to make it better. And then my second final thought is kind of what I was just saying, you know, whether or not you're actively really struggling with your mental health, this would be a really good book to read, simply because it's really informational and helpful without being like super boring or like heavy to read. And as I said, no one's mental health is perfect. We can all improve in one aspect of our life or another, so why not start today? This has turned into like a book sale at this point, but you know what? I'm fine with it. Marketing major right here. Those were just kind of like some thoughts I had about this book. I hope I've convinced you to get it. That about does it for my book review. This is literally such a scuffed book review, but like I said, I literally woke up now like what, 35 minutes ago maybe? Somewhere along those lines. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, or even if you didn't, because you know, can always use more subscribers on this channel. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And I will see you all in another one of my videos. Goodbye. 1, 2